Welcome, Aibuan. As you can see in the picture, we're going to have a look at natural places. Why is this topic important? Because you can get to talk about natural places in your part 1 or even in your part 2, and this can be even extended into a part 3 question. So it's important that you learn the simple vocab around natural places. දැන් natural places කියලා කියන්නේ ස්වභාවික තැන් ගැන කතා කරන්න පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් වචන. ඇයි අපිට මේ මාතෘකාව ඕන වෙන්නේ? අපි IELTS විභාගෙදී part 1 නැත්නම් part 2 නැත්නම් part 3 speaking test එකේදී මේක වැදගත් වෙන මාතෘකාවක්. ඒ හින්දා තමයි ඒ වටා ඒ මාතෘකාව වටා අපිට වැදගත් වෙන වචන මේ lesson එකේදී අපි කරන්න යන්නේ. So, let us have a look at a few questions. Is your country full of sightseeing places? ඔගොල්ලෝගේ රට නැත්නම් දැන් ඔගොල්ලෝගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න පුළුවන් සමහරක් විට examiner. ගොඩාක් තැන් බලන්න තියෙන රටක්ද? Yes, of course. What are they? So we have a lot of sightseeing places, right? We have national parks, we have the waterfalls in Nuwara, we have mountains, right? We have the forests. So we have a lot of places to see. We have Sigiriya, so on and so forth, many places around Sri Lanka. Then අපේ රටේ ගොඩක් තැන් තියෙනවද බලන්න යන්න තියෙන තැන්? ඔව් ලංකාව අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ගොඩක් තැන් තියෙනවා. සීගිරිය තියෙනවා, අපිට කඳු බලන්න යන්න පුළුවන්, දියඇලි බලන්න යන්න පුළුවන්, පොඩි වනාන්තර බලන්න යන්න පුළුවන්, සිංහරාජේ. ඒ වගේ ගොඩාක් තැන් තියෙනවා අපිට බලන්න යන්න පුළුවන්. Have you visited any of these sightseeing places recently? I of course haven't gone recently to visit any of these places, but if you have, you can say yes. But in my case, I would say no, I haven't been anywhere recently. What do you usually do when you go sightseeing? So usually when we go sightseeing, we walk around, we enjoy the natural beauty, and we just, look around. Okay, so we make sure that when we go sightseeing, we enjoy the spectacular view. Okay, අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් sightseeing ගියාම මොනවද කරන්නේ? වටපිටාවේ තියෙන ලස්සන බලනවා, ඒ ලස්සන අපි විඳිනවා. All right. So now I haven't written anything here because I want you to start speaking gradually and reduce the writing. Okay? Now here are some of the natural places that we can see around the world, and most of it of course we can see in Sri Lanka. Some of it we can't see in Sri Lanka. Right? දැන් මෙතන තියෙනවා natural places ටිකක්. Try to guess what they are. මේ සමහරක් ඒවා අපිට ලංකාවේ තියෙනවා, සමහරක් ඒවා අපිට ලංකාවේ නැහැ. ඒ හින්දා බලන්න මොනවද මේ තැන් කියලා. So the first one, it has a lot of trees, lot of greenery around. Second one, they're quite tall. What are they? The third one, of course, you hear a nice sound, right? And it falls from the top to the bottom. What is it? This one again we have in Sri Lanka. You can see it around Sri Lanka. We don't have much of this. What is this? This again is something that we see around Sri Lanka. This we don't see. This, of course, we have plenty. We're an island, so we see plenty of this. What is it? දැන් මෙතන ගහකොළ තියෙන පරිසරයක්. ගොඩාක් ගස් තියෙන, ගොඩාක් කොළ තියෙන ලස්සන පරිසරයක්. කොහෙද මේ? මේක නම් ටිකක් උස් තැනක් වගේ. මේක ඇවිල්ලා උස තැනක සිට පල්ලෙහා තැනට ජලය ගලාගෙන යන එකක්. මොකක්ද ඒ? මේ වගේ ඒවා හරියට ලංකාවේ තියෙනවා. නම්බර 5 නම් ලංකාවේ වැඩිය නැහැ ඒවා. නම්බර 6 ලංකාවේ හරියට තැනින් තැන දකින්න පුළුවන්. නම්බර 7ත් ලංකාවේ වැඩිය නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ මම නම් දැකලා නැහැ. නම්බර 8 ඇවිල්ලා මේක දූපතක් ලංකාව අපේ වටේම තියෙනවා. මොකද්ද ඒ? හිතලා ලියන්න. Next one. 9, 10, 11, 12 කියන ඒවා තියෙනවා ලංකාවේ. මොනවද ඒ? Right? So what are these natural places? 9, 10, 11, 12, of course, we have it in Sri Lanka. So what are these places? Let's see if your answers are correct. First one is a forest. What is the difference between a forest? So mountains is something tall, right? And we usually have a lot of mountains in Sri Lanka. Next, of course, is the waterfall. Fourth one, there are paddy fields. This one is desert. Now, the difference between desert and desert is what you see, the sandy area. Dessert is the thing that we eat after our meals, like fruit salad or ice cream. So this is desert. We have the lake and the pond, right? Lakes are usually bigger, ponds are usually smaller. We have a volcano, right? Which when it erupts, it is really dangerous. And then we have the beach. Now, what I would like to pinpoint is the jungle, okay? So we have the forest as well as the jungle. Usually the forest is bigger, like the Amazon rainforest. Jungles are usually much smaller. But humans tend to walk in the forest, and usually a forest is where they have tall trees, okay, as you can see. But the jungle, it has the short and a lot of variety of trees, right? So they're usually quite similar, but that's the difference, okay? So මෙතන අපි ගත්තොත් forest තියෙනවා, jungle තියෙනවා. සාමාන්‍ය forest එක තමයි ලොකු Amazon වනාන්තරය කියලා කියනවා, right? So forest and jungle ගත්තොත් forest එක ලොකුයි, jungle එක ඊට වඩා චුට්ටක් 120කින් විතර පොඩි කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව forest එකේ තියෙන උස ගස්. හැබැයි jungle එකේ වැල් ගස්, marshy land ඒ වගේ ඒවා ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. Mountains කියන්නේ කඳු, waterfall කියලා කියන්නේ දියැලි, paddy fields කියලා කියන්නේ අපි වගා කරන මෙවි වගා කරන paddy fields එක. desert කියලා තියෙනවා, right? මෙතනදී අපි කියන්නේ desert කියලා. කාන්තාරයට කියන්නේ desert, අතුරු පසල තමයි අපි කියන්නේ desert කියලා. Lake, pond. Pond එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පොඩි, lake එක ඊට වඩා ටිකක් ලොකුයි. Volcano කියලා කියන්නේ පේනවා වගේ ගිනි කන්දක්. Beach එක කියලා කියන්නේ මුහුදු තීරේ වෙරළා අයින කියන එක, right? So let's have a look at the pronunciation. Forest, or you call it a jungle, mountains, waterfall, paddy fields, pond, volcano, beach, right? All right, moving on, we have the river, Ganga, right? Island, Dupata, cave, Galguhava, sea, Mohoda, right? So you have the ocean and the sea. Again, there is a difference in size, right? So these are the words in terms of natural places. Moving on, name a famous place in Sri Lanka. Okay. Again, river, of course. What are the rivers that you have? Alright, so moving on from here, let us have a look at the next activity. You have to name a famous place, right? So anywhere from around the world, you can name a famous place or anything that you can remember, right? Now here you have two words which are quite similar, mountain and lake, okay? The difference between the two is the elevation. So if you remember that mountains are taller than hills, then you understand the difference. Then මෙතන අපි famous ප්‍රසිද්ධ තැනක් නම් කරන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්න එකක් වුණත් කමන්නේ මේ natural places වලට. මෙතන තියෙනවා mountain and hill කියලා. දෙක අතර වෙනස මොකක්ද? Mountain එකක් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් උසයි hill එකකට වඩා. අන්න ඒක තමයි තියෙන main වෙනස, right? දැන් අපි බලමු what are the things that you can remember. Here we have the Amazon rainforest. So it's a forest. Right? Waterfall. What can you think when it comes to waterfall? So when we have a look at the waterfalls, we can take Diyaluma, right? Which we all know in Sri Lanka. A cave. What can we take as a cave? A famous cave, or around the world you can find caves. So I would name this the Blue Grotto, right? The Blue Grotto is a cave in Italy. So I'm just going to say Blue Grotto, Italy. Then you have to find a pond. So what is a famous pond? It can be anywhere in the world. So there is a pond called that I know, Jordan. Right? It's called the Jordan pond, right? Then we have to write about a famous lake. So what are the famous lakes? We of course have lakes in Sri Lanka. So let's take the one we all know, Gregory Lake. Then we have to find a hill or hills. So what can you think of? What comes into your mind when it comes to hills? Well, what I can think of is, I know one in the United States and we call it the Campbell Hill. Next, we have to write a name of a famous mountain, right? And I would call it Piduru Thalagala. Piduru Thalagala. Next, we have to name an island. Okay, so there are many islands around the world. What can we name in terms of what all of us know? Well, I would say Bali is a famous island, right? Then a famous sea, right? So when you take the sea, I think we can write the Caribbean Sea. Okay. And the last one, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to write a famous river. So I think we can write the Mahavali River. So, what do we have here? River. අපිට තියෙනවා Mahavali ගඟ. Sea, මුහුද, Caribbean මුහුද, the Caribbean Sea. Island, Dupatak, we have Bali, which is very famous. Mountain, we have Pidruthalagala. Hills, we have Campbell Hill in the United States. Lake, Gregory Weber, which is quite famous in Sri Lanka. Pond, the Jordan Pond. Cave, Blue Grotto in Italy. Waterfall, the Aluma. Forest, the Amazon rainforest. All right. So let us move to the next one. Find the following places in the puzzle. මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ මේ තැන් මේ වචන ටික puzzle එකේ හොයන්න ඕනේ. So let's see. I can see waterfall. So let's do waterfall. Then I can see what else? Lake. So let's mark the lake. Next one, what are you supposed to find? You're supposed to find river, sea, island, mountain. So I can see river here. So I have marked the river. Then of course we have the mountain, which is right here. Then we have the forest, which is here. Then what do we have to find? We have to find the word island, which is right here. And finally, we are left with the word sea. And there we go. So, we have found waterfall, river, island, forest, mountain, sea and lake. So, with that, we have come to the end of the lesson, which was about natural places. So, what did we do in this lesson? We had a look at some possible speaking questions. Then we learned the vocab, and then finally we named a famous place. So you remember what these places are, and then of course we had a look at a puzzle. අපි මොකද්ද මේ lesson එකේදී කරේ? අපි බැලුවේ natural places ගැන. අපි speaking වලට එන ප්‍රශ්න ටිකක් බලලා vocab ඉගෙනගෙන ඊට පස්සේ අපි crossword puzzle එකක් කරා. So with that, we come to the end of the lesson, which was all about natural places.